After the game.
Yes, it's probably so. They finished it off, but I would like to pay a special compliment to our little men. I thought they were terrific today, and of the people that naturally watch the game, I know that your Maddens and Merritts and Salmons stand out, but if you have a real good look at the boys that was kicking the ball to them, you see the little blokes were really working hard to get it down to them.
Did you expect a tough first quarter? Because that's what it was.
Oh, yes. Well, we're both out there to sort of try and win, and if you can gain a yard or two in that first quarter and the second or the third, it doesn't matter when it is, that's what footy's about.
How close did you come to not playing Salmon? Was he always a definite starter? There was a lot of speculation as to whether he played.
He was always a definite. I mean, I never even rang him. He was just going to be in, and that's it. He's been going to be in for a long time.
Well, Dermot Brereton, you had 3 full-backs on him in about 13 minutes.
He's just a wonderful player. The Irish just sort of oozed out of him today, didn't it? He's a magnificent player. Was that the only worry you had? Oh, no, there was many other worries. A couple of players there that were really starting to sparkle up the side a bit, but Dermot Brereton, gee, he is just a fantastic player. Now, will Essendon lose any players from this year? Oh, only time to tell. I wouldn't think they'd lose any, but if one sort of was lost because of whatever reason, I don't think they'd lose too many. Well, that means Essendon can only get better. Well, I think if we can recruit a couple of players, 2 or 3, I think we could get better, yeah.
Well, if the Bombers can get better, look out the rest for a long, long time to come. Over in the Hawthorn rooms, Alan Jean sounded almost as though he'd been resigned to being overpowered by the Premiers.
Oh, yeah, basically that was it. While we were getting the ball out of the... I thought in the first quarter when we were getting the ball out of the centre we were doing all right, but from that point we seemed to deteriorate. Madden and these fellas just took over and they were just too tall, and then that's not criticism of my own players. They spotted them, 2 or 3 inches in height and all that business. They're very well-balanced side, very flexible, and they got the height in the right place, and they got the small blokes, and they're very flexible and they're very hard to counter. You obviously thought that that'd be the danger area, the tall men. You brought in David O'Halloran for his first match of the season, senior match. Why? Well, David's been a great player for the club, and unfortunately he's got arthritis in his knee and he's had difficulty all the year getting through, but the last couple of games he's been playing extremely well, and he's one of the stronger marking players we've got in the club, and we were hoping we could move Mew out to centre half back to give us a bit of drive from there. We felt that if we were going to win the game that we had to make a few moves and try to counter them, and unfortunately we just couldn't continue to get the ball out of the centre.
And it looks as though a great era has come to an end at Hawthorn. That was David O'Halloran's last game, and Peter Knights will bow out after finishing his career with the Reserves Premiership. And exit to Leigh Matthews, whose 17th season ended not quite the way he would have liked. Here's an excerpt from an interview our panel did with the Hawk skipper less than an hour after his final game.
I suppose before the match, and the whole week, I knew it was going to be the last game, but really the grand final overrode all that. And I suppose once it got to halfway through the last quarter and we were dead and buried, and the last little bit, I suppose, when I think I would have shed a tear, win, lose or draws, but when the teammates sort of hoisted me up on their shoulders towards the end, I can tell you I was choking them back then. What about next year, Lee? Any thoughts? No plans. Any people who have approached me about sort of doing things for next year, I've said, well, I've got a football sort of playing career to end before I can. So there's nothing definite whatsoever.
Well, Lee, I said to Terry Danaher that he's been terrific to us at the ABC here, and on your first season on our panel as a panellist this year, you have been absolutely superb. 340 games of football, 4 premierships, that many credits to you. Well played, Leigh Matthews. VFL football won't be the same without you. It was a touching moment for Leigh, and it certainly was for us in our panel show just after the game. Now, let's take a look at some more brief highlights from the 85 Grand Final.
He'll be pursued by Hawk, or is pursued. Well played, Mew. Hooks it back. Underneath it, great courage, Baker. Wonderful mark, superb courage.
Thompson drives it to centre half forward. Merritt's there. Crash. Gets it down to Elshaw. Left foot kick. Salmon one out with O'Halloran. Salmon. O'Halloran no hope. On to Harvey. Goal.
Good play then by Duckworth. Trying to go through, but he held it too long. A hand pass from Kennedy to Loveridge. Brereton is up there. Oh, clears them. Is it through for a goal? It is! High kick. Brereton comes out, gives him the lead. Can't mark. Cop one a little high. Off the pack, Lester Smith can give it across to Tuck. He's going to do it all by himself. He shoots for goal, and what a magnificent goal by Rod Lester Smith.
From behind Danaher this time. Off to Tuck. A snap along the ground. Dunstall's there, punched away by Weston. Watson with terrific pace. Sensational. Go Timmy. Down the outer side. Elshaw gets free. Magnificent play by Watson. Up to the forward pocket. Izzard. Oh.
Nice short pass out to Bomber Thompson. On the halfback flank, he gets to Harvey, two of the youngsters. Harvey then drives it downfield, looking there on the flank for Van der Haar, who takes his first good mark.
His final game, he's kicked one goal already today. 915 for a great career, but that one drops 20 metres short. I was trying to build him up. Good tackle by Brereton.
And a shot for goal by Brereton. He's broken the record. He's done it. 8 goals. What a sensational performance by this magnificent young athlete.
And now to our awards, and firstly, the mark of the day in the grand final. It was hard to go past Simon Madden, who took 12 marks in one of the best big man performances of all time. But instead, we voted for the man who broke the grand final record with 8 goals. Dermot Brereton was sensational, and this was his mark of the day.
McCarthy waits for it, was grabbed when he didn't have the ball, and we'll get the free kick and a chance now for Hawthorn to go into attack. The hand pass to Morris. Izzard comes at him. High kick to half forward. Brereton over the top and marks. Oh, he's having a wonderful day.
And now the play of the day, and with play like this, it's no wonder that Leon Baker has now played in 4 successive premierships, 2 in Perth with Swan Districts, and now 2 with Essendon. I'd have him in my team.
Centre wing, it's Clark again. Clark then boots it down looking for Merritt. Up goes Morrison, punches when he should have marked. Peter Swab out towards Wallace. Wallace quickly back to Handley. Handley tackled by Baker. Baker in trouble, breaks clear again and sends a long one downfield. Look out, Salmon.
Can't get it, but over the back is Izzard. Izzard now breaks clear and snaps for goal. And he's offline through for a behind.
And now the final list of leading goal kickers for season 1985. And finishing on top, Simon Beasley with his 105. And we go down to the 2 Hawks on the list, Brereton and Matthews. Brereton with 8 for 58 and Matthews 1 for his total for the season of 56. And let's just take a look at the minor grades now. And the reserves grand final was won by Hawthorn, who kicked 9 goals in the last quarter to upset the favourites Carlton. Carlton with so many senior players. It was a premiership for Peter Knights, but he was disappointed to be there and announced that he'd be retiring. And in the under-19s, another bit of a surprise. Richmond beat North Melbourne. All season North had looked the goods. Richmond beat them in the second semi, proved it wasn't a fluke, and beat them again in the grand final. And now to the goal of the day. And in the last quarter, Essendon defender Bill Duckworth moved up to kick a great goal. Last year he won the medal for the best on the ground, this time not so dominant. But this is a moment for him to remember from another premiership day.
And a half, or the 18 and 3/4 minute mark in the final term. Paul Salmon gives a long lead. It's ignored, actually. Tim Watson in front. Behind, Duckworth wants to kick a goal in the grand final, and he did.
Might have hit the post.
It's
no,
goal.
Just got through.
Oh, Billy, bustling Billy, the wild man from the west.
And now, all that remains is for me to say goodbye for the season. Thank you for your support in 1985. In the last few days, I've had a chance to meet many of our friends from around the country. We'll see you again in 6 months' time. As we say farewell, let's go out with Essendon as they celebrate their 2nd successive flag. And who's to say they won't win the next 5?
See the Bombers fly up, up to win the premiership flag. Our boys who play this grand old game are always striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fly up, up the other
desolator.
So, if you want proof that I'm no longer a child,
I don't need any proof.